Hey there, and welcome to Plants vs. German. Today I want to talk about how to grow rice, especially in a colder climate like here in Germany. So let's get started. The first thing to get started is to have a container like this one here, or just an area where the water doesn't drain as fast, because rice just needs a ton of water and actually likes to grow fully submerged too. So I'm using this big container here, and this will fit around 12 to 24 plants. So I actually already have some rice plants here, not many, those are the only 3 really decent ones, and the rest is gonna come from seeds. So I'm gonna direct sow, which is not too hard. So those seeds are rice seeds, and rice is a type of grain, as you can tell, and you can't just use any rice you buy at the store, because that rice has already been kind of destroyed, so it won't germinate anymore. So you have to get natural rice like this that still has the outer shell on it. If you want to grow rice in a container like I do, the first thing you'll need is some soil here, and fill up the container around halfway. We have to leave some room for the water to be on top of the soil, because we're probably going to need at least 10 centimeters of water later. Just dump the soil into the container. For rice to grow really nice, it has to get a lot of sun and heat. So I have it here out in the open, so it's going to get a lot of direct sun. The problem with direct sun is obviously that the water starts to evaporate really fast. So that's why I rather put a bit more water into the container than less. But you can also mix some sand into your soil, because then the soil will retain the water way better. And even if it starts drying a bit and you don't have any excess water in here, it's not that bad as long as the soil still is pretty moist. So it won't kill your crop right away, but you will have to act fast, so try to fill up the container with water as soon as possible if that happens. So now that I'm done filling this up, it's time to plant the rice. The spacing for rice is around 15 to 20 centimeters between the plants, but the good thing is you can plant at least 3 plants in one hole. So that's what I'm going to do. Those 3 will go in here, and then I'll have 4 plants in this row and another 4 plants or 4 holes in this row, and each hole is going to get 3 seeds that I'm going to direct sow. So let's get started. What you will want to do is don't dig the seeds in too deep, because they need a bit of light to germinate. But still, I wouldn't dig them in too shallow, because I'm going to flood the whole area here, and it could happen if the rice is too shallow and you don't press down on the soil a bit, that the seeds are just going to come up again. So now that I've planted all the seeds, it's time to fill the container with water, and I'm going to use a sprinkle top because I don't want the water pressure to dig up all the seeds. You will probably have to do that quite a few times until the container is full. As long as the plants are so small, I'm just going to go with around 2 to 5 centimeters of water, or for the Americans 1 to 2 inches. And as the plants grow and get bigger, I'm going to fill it up to like double or triple that amount. So it's going to be up till here probably. So it's going to be quite high, and I'm going to keep it like that. But as long as those plants are so small and the others haven't germinated yet, I'll leave it at that for now. So the next step is going to be to replenish the water whenever it gets dry again, and it all depends on what the weather is going to be like. Right now the heat isn't too bad, so it'll probably stay for a couple of days, but that's just something you have to keep in mind when growing rice. And the next thing is that rice takes a bit of time to grow, so until it reaches maturity and you can harvest some, it will take some time. And this container is not big enough to grow pounds and pounds or kilos and kilos of rice. So if I get lucky, I'll get around 500 grams of dry rice out of this bucket. And that's if I'm lucky. It could be that it's going to be 250 grams. But it's just something I want to try out this year, and if it works, I'm thinking about getting more containers or even digging up some space in the back here where I can make a rice field if I feel like it. But first, this will have to pan out. And harvest time is going to be around September or October, so hopefully it stays warm until then. It is easiest to start growing rice in February inside, so you can transplant some bigger plants. Those were sown in, I think, April or end of March, so it took some time. They didn't grow really well in those small containers. You see some plants in there too that are not looking that great, but that gives the plants the opportunity to start developing faster, and you might get an earlier harvest. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be happy to give all of you some updates on the rice soon, and hopefully it will grow really nice. If you tried out growing rice, please leave some comments and share your experience. See you next time.